Let's bring in Lisa Booth, a Republican strategist, vice president at conservative polling firm WPA Research. Good to see you, Lisa.
Hi, Greg. Thanks for having me.
Did it sound as though Hewitt was trying to trip up Trump, or was Hewitt asking legitimate questions about an important subject, the war on terror?
Right, and I don't think there's any gotcha questions here. As Carl pointed out, Hugh Hewitt posed the same questions to Carly Fiorina, and he typically poses these kinds of questions to his guests. Look, these guys are running to be the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. They will oversee the largest superpower in the world, the largest nuclear arsenal in the world, and they better be able to differentiate between who our enemies and who our friends are. And Donald Trump was not able to do that, so that should be concerning to voters.
All right, so Trump lashed out, as he always does, calling Hewitt a third-rate radio announcer. But there's a pattern here. If a journalist dares to challenge Donald Trump, or if Donald Trump doesn't do well and kind of stumbles, he personally attacks the journalist as, I wrote them all down, loser, lightweight, moron, bimbo, third-rate, zero, and idiot. Is he incredibly thin-skinned, and maybe too thin-skinned to be president? Because, you know, is he going to complain, you know, Vladimir Putin has not been nice to me, I want to negotiate with somebody else, and so forth?
Well, and as someone who's advised campaigns and who's worked on multiple campaigns, that's not the approach I would suggest to a candidate to take with reporters. But, you know, I do think it shows this level of thin-skinnedness, and also a level of concern with how he would be as commander-in-chief, how he would act as president of the United States. As I mentioned, you know, these candidates are running to be the next commander-in-chief. That is an incredible amount of responsibility, and voters need to make sure that whoever the candidate is able to rise to that occasion, is able to take on that level of responsibility and make good judgment calls.
Is it enough for Trump to say, as he did when he realized he didn't know the answer to the questions that Hewitt was posing, oh, I'll know that, you know, the day after I take office, and I'll know more than you ever will? Is that enough, or does he need to know that now so that voters can determine whether his knowledge is enough, if he's skilled enough, if he would be a good commander-in-chief, and if his ideas in fighting terror are legitimate and solid?
Well, we've seen a lot of sizzle from him, but, you know, where's the stake? We haven't seen a lot of substance from him, and I think that's where some of the concerns arise, especially from this interview and sort of the lack of knowledge on national security issues. And I do think that is very concerning. And, you know, I absolutely think that Donald Trump should have a level of understanding to be able to differentiate between who our enemies and who our friends are, even if that's not his level of background. It also shows a little level of unseriousness from him, in the sense that he has not done his homework, he's not been preparing, and he's not up to date on the big issues facing our country, such as the rise of ISIS and terrorism in the Middle East and North Africa. All
right. Hey, real quickly, I mean, if Trump is, based on that word association poll, you know, arrogant, and mean sometimes, is Ben Carson just the opposite? And isn't it interesting that he beats Trump head on?
Well, I do find that interesting, and there is no doubt right now what we're seeing in the atmosphere and what we're seeing in the political environment right now is absolutely this anti-establishment sentiment. We are seeing it from the right with folks like Donald Trump, with folks like Ben Carson, Carly Fiorina, and we're also seeing it on the left with someone like Bernie Sanders. So what I think this poll shows us is perhaps voters are getting a little tired of the kind of rhetoric, the personal attacks that we've seen from Donald Trump, and maybe, you know, they're still headed in that anti-establishment direction. Right. But they're looking for someone that is going to be, you know, maybe speak a little bit more like a leader.
Lisa Booth, good to see you. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.